YouTube, what up, man? It's your boy Jaquan, and today we are talking about routine, man. Without further ado, let's get into it. The reason why I want to talk about routine, right, is I've been having conversations with a lot of people in my DMs, and the main topic of conversation has been like of their struggle has been building a routine and building structure. And so I find it it's needed for me to make this video just to shed a little light on the basic tips that you would need in order to build that structure, in order to build that routine, so you can apply it to your fitness and you can apply it to your everyday life. Three simple tips that I'm gonna give for how to build routine, right? So the first one is gonna be you wanna establish a ritual. What do I mean by ritual? A ritual could be making your bed. It could be doing 30 push-ups when you wake up in the morning. It could be making sure you floss every day. Whatever you want to pick, right? And you can pick anything. Just make it something, make sure it's something simple. Pick a ritual, whatever you want to pick, and do that ritual every single day for 21 days. Just get up, regardless of how you feel. Make sure that you do that every single day. The reason for it is right is because it's starting to establish that you can do something consistently every day. And it doesn't matter what that thing is, but you're showing yourself and you're starting to build a routine that you can do, that you can do this one thing, this one singular thing. You can do this one thing every day. And you're starting to train your mind to do just one thing every single day. It's starting to establish that muscle memory, you know what I'm saying? So doing that, just one ritual, do that every single day for 21 days straight. Now, once you complete that, right, that's when we move into tip two. Tip two is to establish checklists. And there is a very big importance in writing those checklists down. Whether you want to write it down in a notebook, whether you want to write it in your type it in your phone, whether you want to put it on a whiteboard and hang it in your damn house or hang it at work, whatever it is, right? You want to make sure that you have a checklist, a to-do list of everything you got to get done, right? And one of the parts about building routine that people tend to get overwhelmed with is they start to think about everything they have to do during. They have to think about everything that has to get done. And a lot of people aren't really that good with compartmentalizing, meaning they aren't good with just zeroing in on one thing and practicing that one thing, only worrying about that one thing. People like to worry about a bunch of different shit when they can only really focus on one thing. So to combat that, instead of listing every single thing that you know you need to accomplish every single day, start small. Build your confidence. The same way you just spent those first 21 days building that ritual, doing that every single day. Next step, this next tip is meant for you to take that same mentality and apply it to the to-do list. But the to-do list should start small. Start with just three things. Three things you don't have to do every single day. Whether it be making your bed, whether it be going to work. Going to work is a thing. If it just to build your confidence and build that routine and that structure, going to work can be one of them. Making dinner or eating dinner, getting your protein shake, whatever you want to pick, right? Pick like say three, no more than 3 to 5 things, right? Make a checklist of those things and get them done every single day. You should have a daily one and a weekly one. We're not gonna do monthly yet. There's daily and weekly, and make sure that you're checking those boxes off every day. And then with the weekly ones, 3 to 5 things. Make sure you're checking those every week. Do this for a month. Do this for a month and a half, a month or two. This is how you start to build the routine. Taking something that originally you started from ground zero. You couldn't establish a routine for shit or for anything. You developed a ritual. Do that ritual every single day. Then you take that ritual, take the principle of the ritual, what you learned as far as doing something every single day for 21 days. You take that and now implement a checklist into it. So now you can physically and visibly see what it is you need to get done every single day. And not only does being able to visibly see it help you better, it takes it out of your mind so you don't have to think about it. You can just look at it and you can see it. And that's going to give you a visual of what you need to get done every day. And make sure you check those boxes every day. Also, it gives you that instant gratification to know that you can pat yourself on the back and say, I did this every day. I checked this, I did that, I got it done. Same thing with the weekly. I got this done. I got this done this week. I got this done this week. I got this done this week. So you're building your confidence to be able to follow suit on something every day and every week, and you're starting to actually get acclimated to getting that structure, right? So you take those same principles and now you widen it up, right? You widen it to your monthly goals, you widen it to your quarterly goals, you widen it to your year goals. and it continues to grow and continues to flourish, right? You take the principles don't change, right? Only thing that happens is that you start to expound more and more and more based off what it is that you can handle. The actual process and the actual like rules to this shit doesn't change. Building discipline for doing something every single day, and you're starting to, and you have a checklist now of what you need to get done, what you know you need to get done. And the reason you built the ritual is because you're establishing you can do something regardless of how you feel every single day. And if you can do that one thing every day, regardless of how you feeling or what you're going through, take that same principle and apply it to the other aspects of your life that you want to be successful at. That is how you establish routine. That's how you establish structure, by doing something every single day, regardless of how you're feeling. You take the same thing that you did, making the bed and doing the push-ups, and you apply it to those other aspects. And you simplify it as much as possible, and you put that same energy towards those other things and checking those boxes. Make sure you're checking all those boxes, and you will see a complete difference, a shift in your routine and a shift in your structure to now establish the structure you were once lacking. Now, the third tip is really the most important one. And the reason why it's most important is because it's the tip that a lot of people neglect, and it's why a lot of people break down, and why a lot of people give up. And that tip is, as you start to grow and as you start to establish doing this routine day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and you start to add more to your plate, add more to the horizons, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to grow, you want to continue to better yourself, right? The thing, guys, that you must take time to realize is that you need to have some type of release, healthy release, whether that release be therapy by talking to somebody, where that release be playing video games, where that release be you going to the nail salon and getting your nails done, where that release be you going out to eat by yourself and just, you know what I'm saying, sitting and chilling, watching the game at the bar. Whatever that release is for you, right? Or is your responsibility to make sure that you are getting time to yourself to recharge, right? Because the more shit happens in life, the more things start to turn, things start to shift. Because you can have a checklist, you can have goals and plans, right? But then you must understand is that it's not always gonna go how you plan it to go. Even though you have this checklist and you've established discipline, the point of discipline is to build it to where when shit doesn't go your way, you still end up doing the best you can to make sure you're doing the same things. But the shit won't always go your way, like I said. So what do you do to take pressure off yourself, or to recharge, right? To recharge the battery, right? Because you lose the definition for like a cup, right? If you continue to fill other people's cup, continue to give yourself out, give your energy out, and do what you have to do in order to be successful, right? And you're giving all this energy out, giving all this energy away, you're not if you're not pouring back into yourself, if you're not taking time to recharge and reconvene in yourself, you're not going to do anything but further hinder yourself. You're going to become more irritable, you're going to become more agitated, you're going to become more angry. Like, none of these things are going to help you, right? Everybody needs an outlet to release some stress and to get away from that pressure, right? For some people it is the gym, for some people it's taking a fucking walk, for some people it's fishing, some people it's spending time with their family. Whatever it is you need to do to recharge your battery and recoup. And I would highly suggest talking to somebody. And if you don't like talking to somebody, then like I said, do one of those solo things, go on one of those solo missions, fishing, to the bar, to the restaurant by yourself, or go to the gym, whatever it is, right? Make sure you're taking time to get that release and to recharge, bro. Because if you don't, you're just gonna be one ticking time bomb. You're gonna be taking all this shit. You're gonna take on all these responsibilities and all these things, and then one day, some one of the slightest things, somebody's gonna say something to you that is not even really bad. But because you've all this built up frustration, all this pent up frustration and anger, all the emotions that you keep holding in and you keep internalizing but not dealing with it, it's gonna explode and it's not gonna be good. And then it's either gonna make you quit, or it's gonna make you take a significant step back because you never dealt with it as it was happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's why it's important to get that release and make sure that you're taking care of yourself when you're building a routine and when you're building the structure. That way it's a sustainable structure and a sustainable routine. Because shit is never gonna stop happening. But how do you deal with those things and what as they're happening? Do you completely fall off your routine, or do you deal with the things as they come, get the necessary help that you need, whether it be going off, being in a peaceful place by yourself to recharge, whether it be talking to somebody, or both? Both are completely fine too. Whatever it is you need to do to recharge yourself and recharge your battery, your mental battery, you need to ensure that you're practicing these things as you're doing your routine, as you're building your structure, and as you sustain your structure. Because if you don't, is only one person can only take so much, and without giving it back out or without releasing some of that stress, some of that pressure, you're gonna do no good for yourself, and you're gonna do nothing but regress in the long run because you refuse to deal with the things that you had to deal with. The 3 tips, man. In order to build structure, in order to build a routine, you must first practice one ritual. Do one ritual for 21 days straight. After you've done that ritual, right? After you've built that first habit, take that same principle, right? And now you make a checklist. You lay out a checklist, 3 to 5 items daily, 3 to 5 items weekly. And you get into the habit of checking those things off every single day, checking those things off daily, checking those things off weekly. Then once you start to master that, then you move on, and now you have monthly goals. Now you have yearly goals. And now you're starting to add to the daily checklist and to the weekly checklist. And the structure of it does not change. The actual practice of it does not change. You're just adding more to it. But the system itself does not change. You're not reprogramming the system because you grow it. You're just doing more work. You're doing more things. But the system itself never changes. And because the system never fucking changes, you need to ensure that you're practicing the proper ways to take care of yourself, whether it be talking to somebody, whether it be going to a peaceful place by yourself, or whether it be a combination of the both. You need to make sure you're helping yourself in order to not completely blow up and be a ticking time bomb waiting to go off, because you're taking off so much stress and so much pressure that you either want to quit or you're going to take a significant step back because you just can't deal with it no more because you never dealt with it when something happened. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and make sure you're doing the proper things that when you're practicing that routine, and make sure that you do not fucking regress, that you do not take that step back. Building a ritual is what establishes a discipline, and the checklist, the daily checklist, is what helps you see that you can practice this every single day if you put your mind to it. That is where the discipline starts. That is where the consistency starts, and that's how you continue it. And the reason that way you stay on the path is when it gets hard, you get the necessary help in order to help recharge your battery and continue to push forward. Sometimes you do have to, sometimes at the time of something bad happening, you got to suck it up and you got to keep going. But never let it linger too long where you don't talk about it, or you don't see somebody about it, or you don't even just take a second to breathe before continuing to go, because it's doing nothing but manifest and harboring you, and you're never going to let it go, and it's going to do nothing but hold anger and contempt in your system. That's not going to help anybody, including yourself. So make sure, if you guys just practice these 3 tips, I can promise you that you are going to build consistency. You're going to build structure. It's not as complicated as what it sounds, guys. If you just practice these 3 tips, I can assure you that you will establish routine and structure. It may not be easy, but it is not fucking complicated, and it's pretty simple. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. Turn on the post notifications. Also, if you like this, if you want to see more content like this more often, follow my Instagram, my TikTok, JaquanFitness_. I post every single day on those platforms, especially Instagram, multiple times a day. So if you want to see more of me, more content, and my open thoughts on more stuff more frequently, just go follow those platforms and you will see a lot more of it, guys. But I love y'all, man. Stay blessed, stay disciplined, stay consistent, and you will establish that routine you've always wanted.